My name is Biz. Welcome to another great episode of Gasmasktribe TV podcast, doing reactions on people filtering out BS. Shout out to On Your Leisure. I thought this was a great episode.
We have a Republican voice that is going to join us.
It's gonna be fair, right? It's gonna be fair.
Let's bring her up.
Let's do it,
please.
Let's do it.
How's it going?
Hey, good evening, good night.
Hello, it's going good.
In the Indiana Republican Party, is that correct?
I am the actual director of diversity for the Indiana Republican Party.
What would you have liked to hear Trump? Like, what are you attracted to from Trump's economic policy plan?
I'm attracted to low taxes. It's pretty plain, pretty clear. I want to see low taxes. So want to see the opportunities increase for minority businesses. And when I'm talking about opportunities, I'm talking about no bid federal contracts. I'm talking about increasing the amount specifically given for and to 8A businesses through the Small Business Administration. Keep it a buck, right? We know that Democrats are not the biggest proponent of small businesses, and we know that they like to increase taxes consistently. We know that they're not the best friends of small businesses. What needs to happen from the government is that they need to create a culture for my small business to thrive. And the way that they create that culture is making sure that we have an economy that is successful and viable for our businesses to thrive. Because a lot of times when these policies are predicated specifically by the Democratic Party, they are marketed to us, but they are used and the momentum goes to other groups. Oh, here's affirmative action, but you look at who's the proponent and biggest proponents of affirmative action, and it's not us. Black people are oftentimes cut out of a lot of these policies being beneficial for us.
Can we bring Moment up? He's been walking around for the last
Oh
hour.
man.
See, I just had there was just a watch party at this spot called the Park in DC. Y'all need to do an event here. It's an incredible event. Yeah, I was just at a watch party, so I'm outside, man. I'm chilling, checking in with y'all, man.
I was just at the watch party too.
And you left talking crazy like that right now? Like what you talking?
Congressman Jamal Bowman of New York, Democratic congressman. You watched the debate. What's your thoughts on the debate?
Trump is wild, man. Trump is off the chain, yo. He was talking about executing babies after birth. He's talking about eating cats and dogs. Wow for the night. I was sworn in January 3rd, 2021. 3 days later, there was an insurrection. It was incited by Trump. Yo, Trump said that she wants transgender operations on migrants in prison. Yo, he just says anything.
It's not hard to connect the dots.
I'm a Democrat, but I'm not, ride or die Democrat. Like I never criticize us. A lot we need to do better and a lot we can do better. But when we talk about comparison between, Kamala Harris and Trump, to me, it's no comparison. Like I wish she would have hit him when he talked about the bad economy and inflation. When I first got here, right before, no, I'm sorry, I'm lying. In addition to no corporate responsibility is why we have inflation. Because corporations have been raising taxes on your groceries, on everything else, and they haven't come down post-pandemic. And so she's going to go after that, which is part of her economic policy, to bring down those costs. So when we talk about inflation, that's what we're talking about. White nationalism, which is what he represents, cool, vote Trump. But if you're trying to get to some sense of stability, in my opinion, it's Kamala. But as you both know, you heard me talk before, it's not just her. It's how are we holding the House and the Senate accountable and local elected officials accountable to do the right thing by our people.
So, Congressman Bowman, do we know who Abdul is and why his house? What was it?
So that was fine. That's what I'm saying. Like,
yo,
Abdul, no, I don't. I personally don't know who he is.
Okay, you don't. Okay,
I do not know who he is. But again, that speaks to our foreign policy, right? And again, we still have a foreign policy when we're sending billions of dollars a year to Israel to support a genocide, not just in my opinion, but according to international courts. But we also have a foreign policy that supports child migrants in the Congo mining cobalt with their hands, that supports all of our technology and they're not getting the financial benefits of that. We also have a foreign policy support.
They're not mining cobalt, they're mining coltan. That must be what you're talking about.
Thank you very much.
I gotta fact check you.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Still think it might be cobalt, but that's fine.
You probably do. That's probably why you didn't win that re-election.
The point is, there are Black children using their hands in their African country, mining raw materials that the West, meaning white people, meaning Trump's white supremacy, is using to build wealth, and African nations aren't benefiting of that. The American political system is rooted in white supremacy. And we, on the ground, locally and nationally, need to continue to organize to push against that.
Are you a part of white supremacy and blackface in your position in Congress? You and Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and a lot of these politicians who have been in office for decades. Kamala Harris has been doing this for 21 plus years, almost older than me. Hold up. Joe Biden has definitely been there longer than me.
We're talking about Biden.
Hold on. We're talking about the system. I thought we were just talking about the system.
We are.
1 second, let me finish. Black man, you have voted to send that money over there. Hold on. You have voted.
You obviously don't.
Hold on. Let me finish, sir.
Let her finish, and then we'll let you respond.
Claiming my time. You have voted and been a part of a party that upholds, built, cultivated, and created these systems. Dare I even say perfected them. At the end of the day, whether or not Trump is polished or not, because he's been doing this for 4 years versus the person that's been doing it for 21, or before y'all reverse Biden up out of there, who has been doing it for multiple decades, they uphold all of it. And your party in particular has been one who has created policies that have negatively impacted people that look like me and you.
Republicans, in my opinion, this modern day Republican Party, we're not talking about 100 years ago, 20 years ago, talking about modern day Republican Party. When I pulled that fire alarm, to use your example, they tried to paint me as one of the insurrectionists from January 6th. That was crazy. They have no policies or very little that support the upliftment of our communities, whether it's affordable housing, whether it's childcare, whether it's paid leave, whether it's entrepreneurship, whether it's reparations. None of that does this current Republican Party support. And so the system has to change.
Don't gaslight us, right?
I'm not gaslighting. Oh my God.
Don't talk about the things that you guys support when you know that your party wasn't the one that created them. Like, how dare you say that Republicans don't support small or minority businesses? Who wrote the bill for the Small Business Administration to be an administration, for the 8A program, which provides those no bid contracts for businesses like.
Let's roll it back. She mentioned some here, people. Hey, we need a lot of sisters like this. If you know anything about the 8A program, it is a program where the federal government puts a certain amount of billions of dollars to minority contractors.
Like, how dare you say that Republicans don't support small or minority businesses? Who wrote the bill for the Small Business Administration to be an administration, for the 8A program, which provides those no bid contracts for businesses like mine to be able to work with the federal government in the way that we're able to work with them. That was a Republican that wrote that bill. There was a Republican that started the Small Business Administration, and the programs that are predicated from the Small Business Administration, once again, founded by Republicans. So you can't say that you're supporting these things when the inception of those policies, the inception of Social Security, and the inception of all of these things were predicated by Republicans. But what I will say is that both parties do need to do a better job when it comes to tending to the issues of Black people and speaking to issues of Black people. Only one of those parties promises things every election year after year, the exact same things, and produces absolutely no policies for their communities. And I live in a very blue city that was in a red state. I may be in DC right now, but I understand how this works. I used to also live in California when Kamala Harris was my senator and she was also my attorney general. So I've lived under the rule of both Democrats and Republicans. And what I will say and what I can say is in some of the largest cities that are ran by blue, and I'm talking super majority, the entire council is blue, the mayor is a Democrat, the areas that we live in look the worst. And they rely on us year after year to give them our votes in exchange for absolutely nothing.
One of the key points of the debate tonight was around another policy, and it was the women's right to choose, the topic of abortion.
Can we bring all together?
Yeah, we're gonna bring them out. I want to get both their takes, obviously, because there's gonna be two different stances here. Obviously, as a woman, we saw former President Trump have false claims about Democrats wanting the execution of babies after birth. Vice President Harris talked about her support for Roe v. Wade. So I want to know your thoughts about women's rights to choose as it relates to this election and women in general, specifically Black women.
I mean, I just want to quickly you mentioned the Small Business Administration, and one of the major problems.
We're pivoting. Okay, we're going back. Okay.
No, I just need to respond to that. The number one thing Black people lack as it relates to entrepreneurship is capital, which the Small Business Administration is supposed to provide. And when I first got here, I couldn't believe, Brother Rashad and Brother Troy, how the Small Business Administration was funded at like $1-2 million while we were sending $3.8 billion overseas to support a country that is one of the most fiscally responsible and financially wealthy in the world. So in terms of Roe v. Wade, the bottom line is it's not enough.
Did he just, hold on, we're gonna go back. Did he just admit that like the parties are effed up? Wow. You get some brownie points, my guy.
Forget about the
I did.
And how it's a real champion for Black people. And the number one thing Black people lack as it relates to entrepreneurship is capital, which the Small Business Administration is supposed to provide. And when I first got here, I couldn't believe, Brother Rashad and Brother Troy, how the Small Business Administration was funded at like $1-2 million while we were sending $3.8 billion overseas to support a country that is one of the most fiscally responsible and financially wealthy in the world. So we're not even funding the Small Business Administration at the level we need to.
Is he saying Israel is physically, did he say Israel, right?
In the world. So we not.
I just want to make sure.
No, you gave a whole diatribe to your point about the Small Business Administration and how it's a real champion for Black people. And the number one thing Black people lack as it relates to entrepreneurship is capital, which the Small Business Administration is supposed to provide. And when I first got here, I couldn't believe, Brother Rashad and Brother Troy, how the Small Business Administration was funded at like $1-2 million while we were sending $3.8 billion overseas to support a country that is one of the most fiscally responsible and financially wealthy in the world. So we're not even funding.
Wow. So Democrats saying that. What country is he talking about? Wow.
The Small Business Administration at the level we need to. So I just want to make that point. In terms of Roe v. Wade, the bottom line is it's not on the federal government to tell a woman what to do with her body. That choice is between a woman and her doctor, period. All this shit that, Trump talking about, full-term abortions, that's like assassinating a baby. That's crazy, right? What's lost in that is the issue of maternal mortality or maternal morbidity and infant mortality that continues to plague the entire nation and continues to plague Black women disproportionately. We're not talking about healthcare as from a preventative perspective and the institutional racism that presents in healthcare. We're not talking about that because we're talking about this issue of abortion, and then Trump says, wild stuff. And so again, women could do whatever they want to do with their body. That's not on the federal government to choose. We should support it through the healthcare system. Trump, is on the complete other side of that. Conservatives are as well. And it's just a dangerous precedent, not just for Roe v. Wade, but for the issue of civil rights that we have fought for. The Voting Rights Act, Roe v. Wade, affirmative action, and someone like Trump appointing Supreme Court justices who are then taking that away. So now it's like we're starting at square zero for things we fought for and people have died for during the civil rights movement. So it's all about, are we continuing to evolve as a country towards a liberal democracy and true freedom for everyone? Or are we just going to allow conservative, evangelical Zionists to control what we do and how we think and how we behave?
Damn. Ooh.
I guess this is my turn to respond.
Yeah, the floor is yours. The floor is yours.
Oh, there's so much to say and there's so much to unpack here. As a Black woman who has had a child, what I'm not going to do is downplay infant and maternal mortality rates. It's a very serious issue and a very serious problem. But I'm also never going to tell a woman that she should eradicate the life inside of her, specifically a Black woman. I don't believe.
It's their choice, though.
And I let you finish. I sat here so quietly.
It's their choice. I'm not telling
Yeah.
you. I just want to be very clear.
Hold on. I was very demure and very cutesy. And
Did you just use the word demure?
Demure.
Very demure.
Thank you. I just wanted to clarify.
Appreciate
I
it.
allowed for him to speak. So now allow for me to give my thoughts.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ever advocate for a Black woman to eradicate the life inside of her. Now, I am someone who is very much pro-life. And I do believe that it is within the Black community, it is within our nature to be pro-life. My ancestors, my family came over here and were imported on ships with chains made to work in the fields. I am here because they chose life. So enduring rape, enduring slavery, and all of the things that my ancestors had to go through, they consistently still chose to have their children, which is why we're able to be here today. And so what I'm not going to do is have and tell Black women that whatever the circumstances of their life are right now, that the life growing inside of them does not matter. I am someone who was born drug addicted with alcohol in her system. My mother was told to abort me and she chose to check into rehab to have me. And I'm here on this platform tonight in front of all of these people because she chose life. But what I think that Republicans need to do is shift from being pro-life into pro-livelihood. And being pro-livelihood is, what is the life of that child going to be when it's here? What resources do we have to support that mother? How are we supporting adoption? I'm someone who's adopted. How are we supporting adoption? How are we making it easy for these women to take care of these children that we want them to have? And I think that that's where policy and funds need to flow and go. But telling Black women that they need to eradicate the lives inside of them, I don't think that that's true. And I also think that we should not be using abortion as an answer to some problems, which are the fact that we are having casual sex and we're deciding to have casual sex, and there are repercussions for every action. There's a reaction. So there is a choice to lay down with that man. There's a choice to have unprotected sex with that man. There's a choice not to use plan B, and then there's a choice to terminate. And so if we're not helping women to make better decisions before they get to the choice to terminate, if they know that they are barely surviving themselves and are looking for some type of relief, it's not having an abortion. And I don't think that we should be utilizing that as a method for poor decision-making skills. And I understand in cases of rape, in cases of incest, in cases of life of the mother, as Trump said tonight, but utilizing it as some type of tool and saying that, well, it's your right that you can kill the life inside of you. I just don't believe in that. And I don't believe that that's something that we should be doing. But because it went from the Dobbs decision back into the state's hands, what people can do is decide who you're electing on a state level that makes these decisions for your state.
Mm. 'Cause
All right, we got Michael Blake, former assembly. All right, we got Michael Blake, former assemblyman and vice chair of the Democratic. You were formerly the vice chair of the Democratic National Committee, right?
Yes, sir. Good to see you, brothers, again.
Also a Obama staffer. Thank you for joining us.
Always good to be with y'all, whether it be at Carnegie Hall or on IG. We're gonna make it all happen out here.
For sure.
Gotta make it happen.
Sure. So yeah, you tagged out Jamal Bowman, very spirited debate that he was having. So we've been talking about this debate situation, right? And there's a few topics that we have not talked about. One of the main topics that Trump kept bringing up, just leave it like that, was immigration. He's been hitting this topic hard and hard and hard, and as some say that it's fear mongering, right? And he's trying to pin people against each other, vulnerable populations against each other, when he talks about Black jobs and Latino jobs being taken by immigrants from Venezuela.
Yeah, that's a little gaslighting, but the whole point, I mean, there is a significant problem with the immigration. Now, I'm not against it, but I don't think this is going too well. It's never been this pretty crazy. It's never been where you got people giving stories of them actually seeing people take ducks or hearing stories about taking gooses. But then you see celebrities like John Legend coming up with I saw a post the other day with John Legend's like, I'm from Ohio, everything is cool type shit or whatever. And I'm like, something is going on. If the people are saying this is happening, but then you got celebrities and you got a lot of these Democratic lefts, they're saying like, oh, mainstream media is saying like, no, there's nothing going on. Trump is talking crazy. It's like, well, damn, you don't know what to believe. I don't know, man.
Whaler and stuff like that. So, okay, he says that Kamala Harris is the worst vice president in American history, and she's done a terrible job at the border, border czar. So, what?
I'm gonna let them filter it out. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to let these two people filter it out for me, so maybe I can have a better understanding. All right, I'm not a politician. I don't understand this stuff. Well, on their level, right? I'm a musician. I'm an entertainer. So I'm going to let them, I'm going to let them filter it out and debate about this so I can have a kind of, let me see what happens.
What is your stance as far as immigration? Even in New York City, it's been a major issue for Mayor Adams. So what is your stance as far as the immigration issue in America right now and how the Democrats have approached it?
Well, I appreciate you and appreciate y'all giving the space. I'm going to address immigration right now and also some of the things I heard earlier. So let's start from the place of on the conversation around immigration. If you want to assess Donald Trump as a failure, his fundamental policy proposal that he ran on was to build a wall. So whenever we hear this racist, sexist foolishness from him, we should be very clear that the fundamental thing he said he would get done when he talked about Mexican rapists and all these other things was that he would build a wall. Didn't happen. The rhetoric right now around immigration that he's trying to highlight is a framing of what? That our cities are getting worse, even though everything from an economic standpoint, in terms of growth, in terms of cost of living, in terms of what's happening in your pockets, that actually gotten better. Now, the feeling someone may have, you can fix your face all you want. I heard the point about SBA. Actually, just for a point of facts, there were several things that were stated there.
Stick to the point, my guy. This fool just said that it's rhetoric on what's going on in these places. I mean, did you see the shit that's going on in Chicago, my guy? Like the actual citizens are suing the city? That's rhetoric? Like, do you know what's going on in Aurora? You know, with the Venezuelans? That's rhetoric? I don't know, man. Not doing a good job, but filtering out some shit.
Utterly incorrect. I ran.
Now you trying to go to the SBA? You trying to go back to this? It's no, stick to the point. See, that's the problem. Cats be going off the point when they just want to debunk some shit that they feel is you're not taking up for us. And then they come with these shame tactics and shit. Like, come on, man.
Just for a point of facts, there were several things that were stated that were utterly incorrect. I ran the minority business program at the White House. It was said earlier around dynamic. There's a difference between minority business and small business. We talk about the actual dynamics intertwining around immigration. The Minority Business Development Agency under President Biden, Vice President Harris actually became an undersecretary. That did not happen under Trump. That's equally tied to the immigration conversation because we talk about jobs and the opportunities that are created by all this. We have better growth in our communities by actually helping our immigrant brothers and sisters continue to get access cap. I'm not even sure what.
Hold on. This nigga just said, let me see if I got some shit in here. Hold on. Do I got this shit about that? Let me see.
Apparently, Latinos got to go.
Hold on. No. No.
The black, other than the.
Nah, damn, I thought I had this. Hold on.
Yeah, no reparation, no vote. If you don't give us no reparation, you ain't getting no vote. Y'all gave
So what the hell is he talking about?
You can fix your face all you want. I heard the point about SBA. Actually, just for a point of facts, there were several things that were stated that were utterly incorrect. I ran the minority business program at the White House. It was said earlier around dynamic. There's a difference between minority business and small business. We talk about the actual dynamics intertwining around immigration. The Minority Business Development Agency under President Biden, Vice President Harris actually became an undersecretary. That did not happen under Trump. That's equally tied to the immigration conversation because we talk about jobs and the opportunities that are created by all this. We have better growth in our communities by actually helping our immigrant brothers and sisters continue to get access cap. I'm not even sure well, I heard something about Demore earlier. I'm not sure if that's actually the case because maybe you're not liking what I'm saying. So let's be very clear about the data actually to the immigration question.
So you don't know. Bro,
is how are we making this a policy substantive conversation rather than a rhetoric? Too often it is being utilized by trying to say that the Latino community is hurting black folk and so white folks should be scared. Well, as a Jamaican American, I should care about immigration. We should care about these dynamics.
Oh, that makes sense. The video I keep playing is our black folks in California. Foundation black folks who people came out of slavery, of what she was talking about earlier, chattel slavery. She said it earlier. My peoples came out of that. And he just mentioned the reason why he sees no problem with it. He's Jamaican American, which makes sense. Wow.
the data actually to the immigration question is how are we?
No, let's go back. He said we actually do better when we help our immigrant brothers and sisters.
Development agency under President Biden, Vice President Harris actually became an undersecretary. That did not happen under Trump. That's equally tied to the immigration conversation because we talk about jobs and
okay, he worked under Obama. Anyway, let's go back.
Dynamics intertwining around immigration. The Minority Business Development Agency under President Biden, Vice President Harris actually became an undersecretary. That did not happen under Trump. That's equally tied to the immigration conversation because we talk about jobs and the opportunities that are created by all this. We have better growth in our communities by actually helping our immigrant brothers and sisters continue to get access cap. I'm not even sure well, I heard something about Demore earlier. I'm not sure if that's actually the case because maybe you're not liking what I'm saying. So let's be very clear about the data. The data actually to the immigration question is how are we making this a policy substantive conversation rather than the rhetoric? Too often it is being utilized by trying to say that the Latino community is hurting Black folk and so white folks should be scared. Well, as a Jamaican American, I should care about immigration. We should care about these dynamics here, which we do. Well, you can clap your hands all you want. Hold on. We've heard all your talking points. The talking points we also that we have not really talked through is that the vice presidential pick on their side, which Trump actually said in the debate that he doesn't talk to you about policies such as abortion and healthcare, was the one talking about Haitians. So from a standpoint around the substance on immigration,
this guy,
where again, immigrant communities are actually making more money under this president than the previous president. We are alive now.
He admitted it.
I'm not even gonna get caught up in it because
he admitted it. It makes sense. Both of these things, bro. He admitted it. He had literally admitted it that immigrants are making more money. They're making more money under President Biden and Kamala. He admitted it. Look at this. But he just admitted it as a Democratic former politician, government worker who used to work up under Kamala or Obama, admitted it that they had better income under Biden than Trump.
Trump actually said in the debate that he doesn't talk to you about policies such as abortion and healthcare, was the one talking about Haitians. So from a standpoint around the substance on immigration, where again, immigrant communities are actually making more money under this president than the previous president. We are alive now. Again, I'm not even gonna get caught up in it because they can't go back on actual substance between the two presidencies. When we talk through from a dynamic of health and wellness, from a COVID pandemic, which he took no credit around.
See, I would be hot as people, if you know what's going on and how anyway, I would be hot. She is furious. I know she's furious.
Around addressing the dynamics, it was immigrant communities that were a negative impact. Now, to your question, moving forward to the brothers here, where we go from here, in terms of the policies itself, I would rather have someone who is actually saying, let's safely and securely address what's going on at the border, not about just trying to build a wall, which is not realistic in this degree.
That's why he don't want.
That's
why he don't want the wall. That is exactly why he don't want the wall.
Address what's going on in other countries from a democracy standpoint, which Trump is not doing when it comes to Venezuela and other places, as well as the fundamental economic conditions of why people are coming here in the first place. So all these things are intertwined to the question.
Wow.
And at the end of the day, when we talk about the economics, whether it be internationally or domestically,
I'm done.
we have one person who actually laid out an opportunity economy that would benefit immigrant communities, as opposed to the other who is actually intertwined to the question. And at the end of the day, when we talk about the economics, whether it be internationally or domestically, we have one person who actually laid out an opportunity economy that would benefit immigrant communities, as opposed to the other who is actually trying to push people away. Lastly, it's an immigration conversation, which is entwined all these different dynamics. As a reverend, when I hear earlier that these communities, in particular Black women, need to have responsible decisions and choices, as if they're just being careless and just sleeping around.
They are. If they just are out there not even, if they're out there just having sex and not trying to take care of their shit, and they like, oh, well, I'm pregnant, I'm about to go have an abortion because I went to the club last night and I had sex and he didn't wear a condom. I didn't wear a condom. I didn't have on a pussy condom. So I'm going to get an abortion because I don't want it no more. That is careless as physic. Like, she's not caring. She just don't have any, like, really? Mind you, he's a Jamaican American. He used to work up under Obama. And he agrees with everything with Kamala, everything with the immigration rights. He feels that immigrations are getting more funding. They're making more money. They got more better outcomes under Biden and Kamala. And he didn't even mention the American people and what they're going through. The people who were here before. He really doesn't care about the American people. Or even us. They're not like us.
The notion of that is intertwined. Well, actually, that was what was just said. It was said that they should make better decisions.
It's 7 p.m. Friday. It's 95 degrees.
Again, as opposed to the other who is actually trying to push people away. Lastly, it's an immigration conversation, which is entwined all these different dynamics. As a reverend, when I hear earlier that these communities, in particular Black women, decisions and choices, as if
they do. And you're a reverend and you don't think so? You don't show no kind of, see, a lot of you women be going to these pastors' churches, these reverend churches, and they just speaking death in your ear. They're demons. Not even showing you like, hey, honey, it is more great that you take care of your body. And you should not be just being so promiscuous and all of these things. Like, a man should want to appreciate you, but I'm not a reverend. That's just common sense. Morals. This dude.
They're just being careless and just sleeping around. The notion of that is intertwined. Well, actually, that was what was just said. It was said that they should make better decisions.
It's 7 p.m. Friday. It's 95 degrees.
Again.
Let's not do that. Let's not do that. Let's not do that.
95
There's a red light on the red light. What do you mean, Pastor?
The hot girl summer is over.
It's a hot girl summer.
No, hot girl summer is done.
degrees.
That's a Memphis thing.
That's crazy.
Oh, they froze him up. They froze him up.
Well,
There's so many
rebuttal.
Yeah, I'll add to that because of the immigration point. When former President Trump was talking about the numbers of migrants entering the country, he said it was.
Now, mind you, these two, on your leisure, I think they're like, their family is from like other countries or whatever. I think they're also like maybe anchor babies or anything like that. See, and I don't have no problem with it. My wife is an anchor baby, so I mean, I ain't on no problem with it. But I think there are. If I'm getting my studies right, so this gonna come out. Maybe I'm guessing this gonna come out leaning more towards Kamala as far as a benefit, and towards Trump as far as foolishness, which is bad for Trump, good for Kamala. I think this little statement that he's about to drop. But let's see. I could be wrong. I'm willing to be wrong.
At over 20 million. I'll let I represent Blake speak in a second. She said the number was 20 million. Politico came back, obviously, and fact checked and said that the number was grossly over exaggerated. It's about half that. Still an issue. But Vice President Harris also said that there was a bipartisan group of senators that introduced a border security bill that Trump urged to demise. So in a sense, you're talking about immigration and how to combat it, but when the bill comes, you don't want it to pass. What's your thoughts in rebuttal to that?
See,
I have a lot to say. I believe, is it Blake? Is that his name?
Yeah, that's his last name.
Michael Blake.
Like,
you just did it.
I am okay. I'm gonna frame my answer based upon our different experiences. As soon as you said that you were a Jamaican American, it immediately let me know your relationship to this country.
Yeah.
And so because your relationship to this country is that you were an immigrant and your family wasn't imported through the slave trade, I understand that you're not a descendant.
It's just not true. It's not true. Let's just stop there. Don't say anything about my family. I was born in the Bronx. You're about to say some nonsense right now.
Yes, you're a Jamaican immigrant.
But let's not even say the process of
Claiming my time.
this nonsense of like my family doesn't know this.
As a Jamaican American born in the Bronx, let's keep it here.
Okay, he's born in the Bronx.
She's making a point.
He is a Jamaican American. I didn't state that. I'm not a Jamaican nothing. I am a freeman. I'm a descendant of chattel slavery. Me, Whitley Janae Gates, my family.
Yes.
There is no
Me
Jamaica.
too.
There is no
Right.
Caribbean for me to go
Right.
back to.
Thank
So
you.
his proclivity and how he sees this country is going to be completely different than someone who is a descendant of chattel slavery. Completely different. So of course he wants more immigrants here. Of course, immigration, specifically illegal immigration to him, as he stated, is a sign of growth. Of course, he believes that we should be utilizing our tax dollars and our resources to support people who've come over here, who've broken the law to be in this country, because it benefits his family. It benefits the story.
Yo. You can have a policy conversation. I'm gonna say this again. It's the third time your comments have referenced my family. I just want to be real clear. You can have any policy. You can have any policy. You can have.
See, you see that? When you speak on them and their things, don't speak on my family. But you just spoke on your family when you said it benefits and it helps immigrant communities, and you're for it. So you put your family out there anyway by saying I'm a Jamaican American. And immigrants have made more income. We've benefited more under Joe Biden's ruling. And we feel like it's great that Kamala's going to get in there. Trump want to kick everything out. He feels if Trump get in there, there's fear. But when it comes to us, we can't mention you're not us. We came out of chattel slavery. You're not us. Your family benefits from this. Don't mention my family. What? What? The fuck is you talking about? Make this make sense.
Any policy comment? I'm just saying.
I'm talking about his Jamaican American lineage. It benefits his family. It benefits the story.
Yo. You can have a policy conversation. I'm gonna say this again. It's the third time your comments have referenced my family. I just want to be real clear. You can have any policy. You can have any policy. You can have any policy comment. I'm just saying.
I'm talking about his Jamaican American lineage.
So let's respectfully leave family out of it.
Let me say.
We're only going to talk about his lineage, which is Jamaican American, which is what he has.
But you literally rephrased about crime and illegal, and that I supported illegal immigration because we're families. Like, just again, if you want to talk about policies, you can do your policy.
Let's just keep it policy then. Let's keep it policy.
I haven't even gotten to crime yet. I'm talking about illegal immigration and utilizing our tax dollars and our resources to fund and support illegal immigrants. I'm not talking about people who came here with papers. I'm talking about illegal immigrants, 11 million that have crossed, 11 million and counting, that have crossed the border since Biden and Harris, and since Harris has been the border czar, has taken over. I'm talking about the resources of tax dollars that have gone from American citizens to support their housing, to support getting them food. I do not believe that we as Americans, specifically Black Americans that are descendants of slavery, should have our tax dollars utilized for illegal immigrants that have come to this country without going through the proper immigration process that we have currently in order. And get our money and get funded and get $9,000+ in Chicago for rent, and be able to get more money in food stamps and SNAP and TANF and all of these benefits, and be able to utilize our tax dollars to get free legal service. That's happening right in Indianapolis, in my own city. Absolutely not. I think it is the first step to making America not a sovereign nation is to bust open our borders like a bag of chips. I think that is completely wrong. 2, I think it's also completely wrong for us to basically, and this is what it feels like, and whether or not you say this is what it is, it feels like you're abandoning the citizens and supporting the illegal immigrants. And hold on. Let me say why. I'm gonna let you finish. There are people.
I just said that earlier. It's like he don't care about the American people, only about the immigrant benefits. I said it earlier.
It's also completely wrong for us to basically, and this is what it feels like, and whether or not you say this is what it is, it feels like you're abandoning the citizens and supporting the illegal immigrants. And let me say why. I'm gonna let you finish. There are people who have been waiting on lists for them to open up the Section 8 voucher program, the housing choice voucher program. There are people who have been waiting years on a list, people that look like me and you. However, illegal immigrants are getting upwards of $9,000 in housing stipends in Chicago to pay. Like, this is not okay, and it's not right. And the problem that we have, and the problem I have with the Biden-Harris administration, and the problem I have with their policies, is that when they got into office, specifically Biden, he started repealing the Remain in Mexico policies that Trump had put in place. He stopped construction on the border wall that was being constructed. They stopped construction on the border wall, and they basically reversed a lot of the immigration policies that Trump put in place on purpose. Then our borders got busted open like a bag of chips, right? Illegal immigrants jumping across daily, bringing drugs, committing crimes in this country, which this is proven facts that this is happening. You have gangs taking over apartment complexes in Colorado. And so you have failed policy from a federal level, and then you have sanctuary cities, which is failed policy from a city level, and it's compounding. And then you have a group of people, Black people in the Black community, who have been screaming for decades that we need resources in our community, and we're watching resources go out of our community. We're talking about we need to fix our schools because they're bad, and they're shutting the schools down, and they're housing migrants in the schools. If the fact that you even think that all of this leads to growth is asinine to me, what I think needs to happen, and what I think did not happen, and the reason it didn't happen, is because they waited 3 years until the polls came out about how bad that border was, and then they wanted to institute, they being Biden-Harris, wanted to institute a policy to remain in Mexico. And then they, in an election year, wanted to create a piece of legislation to say, oh yeah, I guess we do need to fund the border, after Kamala said she wanted to give Medicaid and free healthcare to all the immigrants. We don't even have enough for the American citizens. How you gonna give it to people who aren't even from here, who haven't been paying into our system? I think the entire thing is asinine, and I think it's neglectful to American citizens if you do it.
Are we gonna fact check, or we just gonna let this?
Now we got to fact check.
I'm gonna give it to you. I promise. I'm gonna let you have the floor. In terms of the fact check, he actually brought up the Aurora, Colorado situation with Venezuelan gangs. That has been disputed and come to be false. That
is
has been.
not false.
I'm just telling you. I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it. I'm just saying what was brought up. Political just put out the fact check sheet, and that was one of the things.
Colorado, the mayor of Aurora, Colorado,
not me.
failed federal policies.
Not me. I'm just saying when he brought it up, it came up on the political fact sheet as one of those things. But Shadi, I'm giving you the floor, my brother.
Let's reset the room.
My brother.
Let's reset the room. We do have 5,000 people on the line.
Shout out to everybody tapped in.
Share. This is a very spirited conversation. Okay, I have a feeling that Mr. Blake, you want to.
He is wrong. So he is sort of mad. So political fact is right over than the actual people that's living there. This is what I'm talking about. Cover that shit like this. I told y'all they was from somewhere else. They will discredit that.
Free healthcare to all the immigrants. We don't even have enough for the American citizens. How you gonna give it to people who aren't even from here, who haven't been paying into our system? I think the entire thing is asinine, and I think it's neglectful to American citizens if you do it.
Are we gonna fact check? Or we just gonna let this?
Can I just say one thing? I'm gonna give it to you. I promise. I'm gonna let you have the floor. In terms of the fact check, he actually brought up the Aurora, Colorado situation with Venezuela games. That has been.
He go fact check her, but he never said I'm gonna fact check him on what he was talking about. But we're gonna fact check her. Come on, that's a lot of bias there, man.
To people who aren't even from here, who haven't been paying into our system. I think the entire thing is asinine, and I think it's neglectful to American citizens if you do it.
Are we gonna fact check? Or we just gonna let this?
Can I just say one thing? I'm gonna give it to you. I promise. I'm gonna let you have the floor. In terms of the fact check, he actually brought up the Aurora, Colorado situation with Venezuelan gangs. That has been disputed and come to be false.
That is not false.
I'm just telling you. I'm not saying it. I'm just saying what was brought up. Political just put out the fact check sheet, and that was one of the things.
Colorado, mayor of Aurora, Colorado, not me. Failed federal policies.
Not me. I'm just saying when he brought it up, it came up on the political fact sheet as one of those things. But Shadi, I'm giving you the floor, my brother.
Let's reset the room, my brother. Let's reset the room. We do have 5,000 people on the live.
Shout out to everybody tapped in.
Share. This is a very spirited conversation. Okay, I have a feeling that Mr. Blake, you want to rebut some of the things that she just said?
Well, let's just do a quick Black history lesson here. The fact of saying that Jamaica and the Caribbean is not connected to slavery, you might have forgotten.
Oh, no.
I never said that they're not connected to slavery. Their boat dropped them off at a different location. That's not what I'm saying.
But again, you're the.
I thought we didn't want to talk about the lineage. I thought we didn't want to talk about that.
Let him cook.
You know, I know that you are a Trump surrogate or even Trump appointee or campaign, whatever it may be, but you can't ignore
for no one's campaign.
The facts. You can't ignore the facts that this is rhetoric. No, I'm actually trying to make sure I'm reminding myself I'm a reverend when.
Oh man.
He keeps and the Democrats, they don't be prepared for nothing. Stable internet. Good thing Trump was bringing broadband.
Reverend Blake, Reverend Blake, you're chopping it up.
Oh, man. It stopped to your previous point in respect to the brothers right there. It stopped previously because I wanted to pause to make sure I was intentional when I said there.
Gotcha.
To the point around immigration, the rhetoric is that
right. Shut your ass up.
Damn. Well, yeah. You got.
Yeah.
All right. You got to get his wife.
These comments are very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure if you can. Yeah. Your connection is getting interrupted. I'm not sure if there's a stronger Wi-Fi or maybe the word unhinged prior to you coming on. What?
People eating past than how you actually get a job. So when we talk about the debate and making it real clear for folks, Their strategy, his strategy, is not about trying to help more people to do better. It's that they believe that Black and brown folk will not show up to vote, that they're not going to be engaged, that we're not going to be engaged, because he had no game plan. I mean, in what world, what business plan would you ever be in a conversation where someone actually asks you, do you have a plan? And your answer was, no, I have concepts. On something like healthcare. And so to your question, it was clear, it was obvious, and that's the reason why we keep talking about the Kairos. This is our moment to make it very vision for that in Vice President Harris. On the other side,
the word unhinged, but prior to you coming on, what were your thoughts overall about the debate from the Democratic side? And I guess I'll hear from the opposing side as well.
she laid out how people can make more money, keep more money, and do better.
Oh my gosh.
He never took a responsibility for January 6th, for the COVID pandemic, or anything that was hurting our communities. She made it very clear that we should give anyone the ability to make a choice when it comes to pro-choice. He would not actually answer the question when asked twice about vetoing an abortion ban. She said small businesses should have $50,000 of deductions. He literally said that while running for a third-time president, he doesn't have a plan for healthcare. So we can remove the rhetoric and the talking points and the feelings. You want to do better, live longer, make more money, have a chance to actually grow and win. You had someone who laid out a vision for that in Vice President Harris. On the other side, as a Black man,
You ain't black, nigga.
Donald Trump, whose family
Bacon,
was sued because they wouldn't let Black and brown people get access to housing, who called for the death penalty to Central Park 5, who said that we come from shithole countries and that these Black jobs and Hispanic jobs are low-wage jobs.
Feel like it.
Still can't tell you at all how you specifically will do better. He spent more time talking about people eating pats than how you actually get a job. So when we talk about the debate and making it real clear for folks, their strategy, his strategy, is not about trying to help more people to do better. It's that they believe that Black and brown folk will not show up to vote, that they're not going to be engaged, that we're not going to be engaged, because he had no game plan. I mean, in what world, what business plan would you ever be in a conversation where someone actually asks you, do you have a plan? And your answer was, no, I have concepts in low-wage jobs. It's him who said that he would not give you an answer about an abortion ban, and the vetoing of it, and the rhetoric that is about pro-life. It's not pro-life, pro-choice by itself. It's, do you have a choice? Are you saying to someone about them having a choice? It's the reason from a data perspective to bring this home. It is the largest gap when it comes to choice between two candidates on record ever. Because it's not just Democratic women that are feeling this. It's Republican independent women who are just like, oh, hell no, we ain't trying to do this. And so for the next 55 days, you can ask yourself, everybody, you had a vice president who was at the Capitol when an insurrection was called on the Capitol, where he would not directly say, would you actually accept the results if this occurred again, and tell people to be actually.
As he's talking and I'm looking at this, I'm seeing the guys' faces on your leisure, and then it seemed like the comments, they're not liking the comments. What's going on in the comments? Let's see what the comments look like. What's going on? Let's see. They like, let's see what's going on. See, absolutely bring her back. Oh. Say absolutely bring her back. More voices like her needs to be heard. Please bring Dr. Claude Anderson, everything. Wow. She's Sister Cook, both of them, brother like a man, the conversation is exactly why I stopped dealing with politics. Spent that whole time blaming the other side. No changes, no real made. This debate was better than the action one. So she's about to get drafted in someone's on Trump's team to get her. Wow, Democrat system is broken. Young black lady, but Trump is not the answer to our problems as a race. Facts. That is facts. That is facts. This young woman has multiple valid points. It's unfortunate to hear that, though both sides make good points. Both sides seems to be more concerned. Okay, I mean, she cooked. Yo, Trump definitely need her. LOL. Well, I saw 4 brothers against the sister. Sad. Yep, I'm telling you. Yes, it was. 4 brothers against the sister. It's sad. No wonder they weren't liking the comments. No wonder they had a salty look on their face. This interview highlighted how salty black men get when black women don't agree with it. 2 Democratic men were highly emotional and feminine. Yes, they were. Their reaction to this brilliant black woman. Black women need to save ourselves to stop fighting for the black man at all. Well, not necessarily. That comment, I mean, I understand what they were talking about, but just how a boy tried to make himself black, but then again, he's Jamaican American. You know, that's a whole nother story, right? But he black when it all counts. Oh, okay. But you Jamaican when it's dealing with immigrants. Oh, all right. When you're dealing with the benefits and getting paid more money. All right. Seeing a black woman seated, in fact, debating black man seated in personal affection is wild. I know she was eating. No wonder, as a little politician realm, seeing the Congress Bowman drunk, rambling on keys, especially since black men are demographically desperate. Wow. She cooked. I like her. Wow, they are. So the comments is, damn, she low-key knows a lot. Who is that? These Democrats are so emotional with no plan. Damn, she roasted. Damn, no wonder.
Truly peaceful. So at the end of the day, to your question,
Yeah,
you know, I landed, I got delayed in itself. So yeah, the internet could try to slow you down, but God won't slow it down. We're gonna be able to rock here. I've heard the points. For black folk, our choice is either someone who's actually.
See, why is it when you call yourself black, we all together? But then again, when we start getting to the nitty gritty, you want to put yourself away when it comes to dealing with benefits for immigrants. Damn.
Actually trying to help us to grow and to win, or someone who has literally tried to call for us to be killed.
Okay, rebuttal.
Let's just talk about it. Let's talk about Kamala Harris. Why not? Kamala Harris, after they bounced Joe Biden and hit the Uno reverse, once they realized he wasn't going to be able to beat Donald Trump, and they removed him as their candidate, kind of like how Jamal Bowman was here and now you're here. So I've gone up against 2 people tonight. It seems to happen a lot to Republicans. But the truth of the matter is, when Kamala Harris was the district attorney and when she was the attorney general, she was not a friend to our community. When I say not a friend, she created policies that are still in place today and helped to champion and advocate for policies that locked up people that look like us and that kept us in chains and in prison when we were supposed to be out. Kamala Harris wrote a book when she was a prosecutor, and she said that the more police in a community, the safer the community is going to be, that the visualization of police presence in that community is what is going to keep you safe. Now, she said that when she was a prosecutor, but then when she ran for president in 2020, she wanted to defund the police. Then she said she didn't want to defund the police, and now she says that she supports the police. The truth is that she's a flip-flopper, and she will say whatever is politically profitable for her to win. That's what she's always done, which is why on 21 different issues, she's flip-flopped back and forth. The truth is, it doesn't really matter what Kamala thinks. She's a symbol with no substance. a symbol of a Black woman, allegedly, sometimes Black first, sometimes Indian first. It depends on which audience it's gonna play better to, right? She'll do whatever is politically possible to stay in a.
I'm not sure if that's fair.
Really?
I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
Why your monkey ass jumping in? You mark ass mother. Man, why this so? Man, sit your ass up, bro. You ain't got nothing to do with this conversation right now. You ain't got nothing to do with this conversation. Keep your ass over there.
I mean, give basic. So let's give.
American brother.
No. Let's just give basis to that
whole
statement.
diatribe, and y'all interrupt me because you didn't like what I said.
It's not that I didn't like what you said. I just want to know the truth of what you said.
It's factual that when she ran for office, was she not considered the first Indian American? Was that not the headline? Google it.
It actually wasn't. It actually wasn't. I was the vice chair of the party. You just asked the question. It just
American. No, I'm just telling people to go and look it up.
What someone else wrote. You can
Kamala Harris, first Black VP. Whichever one plays better to the audience is what she will be. As opposed to saying, I am the first.
I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let it go.
Good. Instead of saying each and every time, if they lead with Indian and she negates or doesn't add Black, then that's on her. If they lead with Black and she doesn't add Indian, then that is too on her. If her identity and the dimensionality of who she is intersectional at many different places, Black, Jamaican, Indian, whatever, Asian, whatever it is that she wants to be, she should lead with that each and every time, and it shouldn't be a question. And the reason why the Black community in particular feels this kind of way, because these conversations are happening, is because of the way in which she's led. She will say whatever and do whatever is politically profitable. And the truth is, she is the second most powerful person in the United States of America. If Joe Biden slipped and fell, which he tends to do quite often, she becomes president and commander in chief. That's the truth. And she's been in the White House for 3.5 years. And what they've done while they were there is create chaos. And I'm not even just talking about chaos on our home front. I'm talking about chaos abroad. We've had weak foreign affairs. We have a weak economy. They're fudging their job numbers. 816,000 jobs off. Like, they're fudging their job numbers. They're withholding stories from the media and controlling their own narratives. They're telling us that he's cognizant and he's the guy to take us all the way. And then we find out
allegedly they're fudging job numbers. Allegedly.
I mean, no, there was a mistake. They corrected it.
Well, the way you said it was like it's
alleged.
We don't know what their intentionality is.
So then if we don't know, then we gotta say it's alleged.
We don't know what their intentionality is. We know, should we be having those types of mistakes is the question that you have to ask yourself.
You see corporations do it all the time.
So then our federal government should do it? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying that. But that's why we're saying alleged.
I just want to make sure that that's not where you were going.
No, we're saying alleged is what we're saying.
We should be able to trust our federal government. We should be able to trust the agencies. We should be able to have a faith in them that they are going to take care of their citizens. We should have a trust in them that they're going to utilize the tax dollars that we give them in an efficient way. Like, those are things that we should just trust from our legislative and our executive branches. And the truth is that we can't trust them because career politicians like Joe Biden, career politicians like Kamala Harris, who have been in many positions of powers at every single level for years and years and years, promise to do all of these things all the time, and they do absolutely nothing. So if you feel your life is better off under Biden, if your pockets are fatter, if your business is doing well, if you got money to take your trips and you don't have an issue with inflation, you don't have an issue with gas prices, you don't have an issue with all of this money that we're utilizing to fund other wars and fund immigrants, then that's fine. Vote for her. We're going to get a whole bunch of what we've always gotten, which is absolutely nothing.
You know what's crazy? I had just mentioned earlier that, well, for one, she's cooking. She's been cooking. But I had mentioned earlier about the comments. And you see, after I mentioned about the comments, you see how they start like, I'm just saying, it all plays a part. It all plays a part.
We realize the reason why he's former President Trump is that the American people thought that he was such a disaster in running the government. So the notion of, well, the trust of the government and the services was because of how poorly he ran the COVID pandemic to that complete degree. And so I am grateful that it has been said out loud that yes, when it comes to who do you trust for your government?
Yeah.
He lost because Americans don't trust him with the government. He is losing right now because Americans don't trust him on the government. The polls, if the election were today in the battleground states, she is ahead in Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. Those three alone give her 270. So to the degree what was said, I am so happy that you just said it out loud.
Well,
this is a decision. We heard you talk about it. This is a decision around. This is a decision around.
We were in the exact same.
We gotta let him cook now. We gotta let him cook.
Exactly. We heard the talking points.
Oh, they're not
decision
gonna fact check him though.
right now.
Fact check him.
On. So you just said it again. Make sure everyone focuses on the clip that was just said.
Yeah, focus.
As Americans, do you trust what the government is doing? He lost because folks don't. He is losing because people don't. And when he had a chance today, not about Joe Biden, he couldn't even remember who he was debating most of the time. When he had a chance today to say very specifically, do you take any responsibility around what happened with COVID? He said he did a great job. When he had a chance to take responsibility about what happened with the insurrection, where they tried to kill his vice president, he said, I told him to go peacefully. When he had a chance to literally say, no, I will not sustain what's happening. I will veto if a ban comes from a national abortion, because he literally flip-flopped. You're talking about changing positions. He flip-flopped in 24 hours in Florida because the polls were bad to him. He twice could not say that. So if we want to actually talk about the facts and what was going down, you have two clear choices here. You have a decision in which one person repeatedly, in Vice President Harris, laid out what she would do for businesses and individuals.
There's a New York Times Siena poll that dropped yesterday that shows among Black voters in 2020, Trump has 7%. In 2024, he's up to 17%. There's a New York Times, there's a Siena poll that was released just yesterday. Among Latino voters in 2020, Trump was at like 30%. In 2024, he's at 42%. At the end of the day, if you're going to rely on polling like Hillary Clinton did in 2016, when she was ahead in all the polls, when they said that she had it in the bag and she didn't have it in the bag. I think the truth is that there is an undercurrent where I have never seen this many Black people say that they're going to vote for Trump. I've never seen this many Black people say that they want something other than her. I've just never seen it. I've not seen it. I didn't see it in 2020. So this is very new for me. And I think the truth is, and the reason why is because they're not satisfied with our current administration. And they're definitely not satisfied with her. And they don't feel like the economy is going well. And they don't like the decisions that are being made. And so at the end of the day, you can have a career politician who's going to tell you whatever it is that you want to hear and do absolutely nothing in office. When Democrats have been in the White House 12 of the last 16 years. So if there are things wrong, it's probably the people that's been in there more than a decade, as opposed to the man that was just in there 4 years, and 2 of the 4, we had a pandemic.
Just one quick thing, if I can.
Of course.
From a decision standpoint, it was said earlier about the vice president and her history around being a prosecutor. She chose to not pursue the death penalty when it could have destroyed a community. When on another side, you had someone who called for the death penalty when he knew the people were innocent.
Okay, we know where you're going here. What about the man that you didn't let out? When the had to say that Black man. Yeah, I already said. There you go. You don't want to talk about that. Do you support Kamala keeping
the vice president? Do I support the vice president? Say her title.
Her keeping Black men in jail when she was told to let the man out, and she didn't, and then the Court of Appeals had to come down and tell her to let him out. Do you support that type of behavior? Do you support
No. I heard your first question. So again, let's use facts. Let's use
Oh,
facts.
wow.
Right now, according to Ford.us, there are more black men graduating than going to prison. So again, if you come with your talking points, come with someone who's not prepared.
I mean,
But
that's great, but that doesn't.
But again, I just because she's again the vice president. You just asked me a question, and I just
Hold on.
You don't
Black
wanna
men
ask-
are an all-time high because Kamala's the vice president. Is that what you're telling me?
Well, let's do this.
Policies.
You guys represented your political parties, I think, very well. And we appreciate
people. Y'all got it, man. Y'all see what the fuck just happened. I don't really fuck with like Earn Your Leisure like that anymore. And after watching this, I definitely don't fuck with him now. This was crazy. She did her thing. Shout outs to her. Y'all send her blessings. Thank y'all for tuning in. I'm gonna get out of here. Yeah, like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Filter out that bull.